So, so what kind of content do you enjoy making the most? And yeah, and what would you say to people? How would they identify what they enjoy making? Because obviously there's so many different formats, right?
Yeah.
You could write a blog, you could start a YouTube channel, you could do a podcast, audio or video. There's endless possibilities now, I think, for everyone. But how did
Yeah.
you identify what content you like making? Did it take like a certain amount of videos, or how did you do that?
It actually started with blog posts because when I started the Raw Advantage website in 2011, I think it was, or was it 2010? Anyways, when I started it, I was doing written blog posts. I mean, YouTube
Mhm.
was around, but there wasn't any raw food YouTube channels. At least I wasn't following any. I never seen any out there at that time.
No.
Maybe there was one or two. I don't know. Maybe there's a couple. I don't know, but I didn't see any. I was just writing blog posts because that's all I knew about, and that's where I figured was a good starting point. And if I'm right, I think I wrote like somewhere between 3 and 5, and I didn't like it. I still don't like writing, to be honest. I don't really enjoy it.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I was like, hey, I could make a video instead, like the same content, but make a video. And I mean, obviously, too, you can kind of open different avenues up with video that you can't really do as well on audio or on written.
Mm.
So once I made my first video, I was like, like done. Like that's what I like. That's way more fun. I I just started doing video and then making a synopsis kind of write up based on the video. So I still did some writing, but the main thing was the video. And really ever since then, I found that video is my favorite medium. Um, I don't love speaking in front of people like live, but
Hmm.
I've been invited to do it a lot, and I've had a lot of really positive feedback, and it's a barrier, and it's kind of like a resistance and a challenge that I
Hmm. Are you talking
don't
about
like
like,
the
sorry, just quickly, are you talking about like YouTube Live or Instagram Live, or are you talking about
no,
in
no,
person public
in
speaking?
person. Yeah, in person
Ah,
public speaking. I have a resistance, but it's more just a fear-based resistance. And when
yeah.
I do it, I feel amazing and charged, and I always get good feedback. So I do that as well. But definitely just making videos. That's my favorite. And whether it's a recipe, whether it's a topic, whether it's silly, whether it's like out skateboarding, that is just all determined by the moment and what I'm authentically excited about and kind of
Mm.
present in right then. And it can shift back and forth. But if I was told, okay, every week you need to make a recipe video, or every week you need to make an informative video, it'd feel like work and I wouldn't enjoy it. But instead, if I just do what's kind of present and allow myself 2 weeks off the weeks that I don't feel like doing it, then it's fun and it feels more
Mm.
authentic to me.
Yeah, I think when you don't box yourself in, maybe you have like a general structure, like there's good practices, like obviously getting videos out helps, but when you don't
Yeah.
pigeonhole yourself in and you just
Hmm.
make, like you say, authentic content that you like, because then
Hmm.
ultimately you're just expressing yourself with that medium, the video medium. It's like,
Yeah.
um, I'm not sure if you heard of Andrew Kirby, but he kind of just talks about
Not sure.
like a synthesizer or just someone who just shares what they feel like, what they learn, what they're doing in a day to day. And then you become like your own niche. You're just being yourself. You're not trying to
Yeah.
copy. Like it was like me, if I'm trying to be Chris, I'm gonna be Chris number two. I'm never gonna be as good as Chris because that's not me. So I think,
Hmm.
how did you identify what you really loved? How did you tap into that video? Was it like an instant like realization, like, oh, I instantly love video? Because for
Hmm.
me, I was like, I think video is the best medium of me expressing myself. But at the start, I was terrible on camera, like,
Yeah.
but I
Takes
just
time.
knew if I get the reps in. So for
Yeah.
you, was it like an instant thing, or
Well,
was there like quite a learning curve?
you can watch my first video. It's called Favorite Fall Fruit. And I'm just talking about persimmons and plantains and how you can eat raw plantains and how to do it. And it's
Yeah.
definitely different than how I do it now. I was just more shy and excited, but bubbling with excitement, but shy. And so to me, it's just that meeting point between passion and purpose, and that inner recognition that what you're doing feels great, and that you feel like you're doing something that is worthwhile. That is like offering something of value. And so for me, I mean, it just became very, very clear in the moment as soon as I started doing it. Like I did that. Same as skateboarding. As soon as I started skateboarding, I was
Mm.
like, this is it. As soon as I started doing raw food, I was like, oh my God, like things light up inside of you and it becomes really crystal clear. And when there's been moments where that isn't super crystal clear or where there's some doubt, well, I experiment and I broaden my horizons and try on different things and breathe and allow
Mm,
myself to feel what I feel and know that it's not all roses. Even though I talk about like doing the things that bring up passion and purpose, it doesn't always feel like that. But as long as the largest portion of it is and the bigger direction is that way, then it just becomes more clear and more authentic and better feeling for me.
yeah, for sure. I heard something the other day. I can't remember who said it, but it said you're always going to have like problems, but you get to choose the kind of problems you have on a day-to-day basis. So for
Hmm.
you, if you've got maybe a problem is like you've got a client who's chronically ill, or you've got to
Yeah,
reply to emails for your retreat, or something
yeah,
like that. Maybe, yeah, like you say, it's not all roses, it's not all fun, but at least
yeah.
it's for someone you believe in. So I think you get
Yes.
to choose your problems, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, you totally get to choose your hard. That's it. Like everything in life
Yeah.
is hard, like it obviously there's easy moments and comfy moments, but life in itself is hard and it requires some grit and it requires some leaning into discomfort. That's how we grow. It doesn't matter if it's building muscle or
Mm.
on the entrepreneurial journey, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And we get to choose our reaction because, it can be a huge hurdle and like, oh gosh, I have to do this all day. Or it's like, I get to do this. I can be of service and create my living. How freaking blessed am I? And
Mm.
I don't always feel that way. I'll be very, very honest. There's some days where I'm like, this is too much. Just like I just like to almost just work at a gas station, like, but the trade-offs and the feedback and the knowledge that I'm living my purpose and challenging myself is the best. That's why I keep on doing it, and why I like to share stuff like this and help other people on their way. Because like I don't look at competition. I think that the world needs a lot of people doing this. So
Mm.
it's like, and everyone connects with and resonates with different people, right? So
Exactly.
your unique way of putting things together and your message and your social group, your family group, all that stuff. Like it's just so important to get this information out there, and that's one of the big things that keeps me doing it, and wanting to help and congratulate others for wanting to do the same.
For sure, for sure. I think yeah, you touched on so many good points there. I think one you touched on about your obviously unique greatness and talents and things like that, because a lot of people they think the internet or social media is like oversaturated. They're like, oh, there's too many people on YouTube. I've never. It's too late to start. But for me personally, I don't think it's ever too late to start because, like you say,
No.
you're so unique.
Yeah.
So what would you say to anyone who's thinking about getting into like content creation or something like that?
Well,
What would you? Yeah.
a common kind of phrase within raw food or in agriculture, the only time better to plant a tree than today is 10 years ago, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like you can say like, oh, there's too much of this or too much of that, but if it just prevents you from actually putting yourself out there, the only people that you're cheating is yourself and those that could hear your message, right? It's like,
Mm,
um, I, I think my advice is just like, really hone in on what you're excited about. And the things that you're excited about are the things that you're experiencing and researching and learning and growing more about and through, and see different ways that you can help people with that, just like how can you genuinely help someone with that? And
mm.
whatever is the path of least resistance that gets you the most excited might just be a great place to start, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because, like you said, when you're researching those things, that's like your own unique advantage, and
Hmm.
that's why I love the podcasting so much. Because now I'm not niching myself in. I can choose to speak to whoever I want to, whoever I'm into, whoever I'm curious about, or whatever area I'm interested in learning about, and also sharing it with an audience who hopefully find it just as valuable, or maybe even if they find it half as valuable, then to me that's a win.